Hello and welcome to another Life Mastery show live from the Spiritual Events Directory. So absolutely fantastic to be here, and I really want to share with you today some insights, some support, some guidance on wherever you are right now in your life. So if anybody's listening in, watching in right now, the first thing I'd love to get is somebody saying, yes, Adrian, we can hear you, we can see you, and everything is clear. Because then I know at least somebody's hearing me and seeing me. So if I could just get a message for anybody listening in, looks like there's a few people pouring in the door now. So just somebody could type in the message for me. Adrian, we see and hear you clearly. That would be absolutely fantastic. And a great thing to do on the show might be just to pop in where you're listening and watching in from today. So first thing is, can you hear me? Can you see me? Is that all clear? And then maybe just type in, hi, Andrea. So just let me know if you can see and hear me. And then maybe for those who want to share, just type in where you are actually listening in and watching in from today. Rather than just putting Australia, maybe put, the area in Australia, because Australia is a pretty big place. Janita, oh, lucky door prize is mine. I might put in some special lucky door prizes for you today, Janita. Let's do that. So yes, thank you. You can hear me. That's fantastic. Thank you. So yeah, let's have a special celebratory life mastery program today, and let's really get a sense of where we are right now, because that is the name of my book, Where Am I Right Now? It's what I work with, and it's the essence of all my work. It's helping people to get a sense of where they are right now in their lives and how to take that to another level, how to improve one's life, how to get on track, stay on track. I was actually just speaking to a lady who's going to come on board and do a 10-month coaching program with me. So she is an artist that is not doing her artwork. She's not doing her artwork. She's really frustrated. She hasn't been doing what she wants to be doing for a while. So the subsequent thing from that is she's been a bit ill. She's been off track physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So today we had a brief introduction session to get the vision clear. And now she's away with a vision. We're going to do a 10-month journey right through until October next year, where she's going to get on track, get her artwork happening, get a gallery, get some people on board to get her artwork bought and hung. It's really exciting. And this is what I love doing, is getting people back into their groove, getting their mojo back, getting them back into life, helping people to get to that next level in life. So I'm just going to look at these messages here. I've got a few things coming through. Sunny Coast, hey, Sunshine Coast, Toowoomba. So Leanne, I've been waiting for you to get back to me to help me with some energy and lose weight. Sorry, Leanne. Yeah, look, I was a little bit last week. There was a couple of people I did not get in contact with last week. Some I did, some I didn't. So I apologize for that. But what I'd suggest you do is go to my website, adrianhanks.com, and go to the booking. On this page, there should be a link at the top when you're looking at the screen, with that link straight on there. And there's some dates I've put on there. I just went on there just earlier. And I've created some space for the next 2 weeks for people to go in and book a session with me. I'm obviously not going to do much over a couple of 3 days over Christmas period. But if I don't contact you and you want to take that next role, you go in and book a session. If not, I'm going to scroll back through here when I've finished Leanne, and for everybody else, and I will make an effort to contact you. But I would suggest right now the best way to do it is to go to my website, adrianhanks.com, and go and book a session in the times allocated on there. And we can have a conversation. And I certainly want to help you to lose weight and to get that energy flow with you, Leanne. So apologies for that. And some people do fall through that little bit of a crack sometimes when I'm not fully concentrating on that. So apologies, but we will make amends and we will get that happening for you. So Shona, I can hear and see you from Australia. Yeah, Western Australia. So thanks, Shona. Chrissy, hello from Launceston. Hey, down in Tassie. I lived in Tassie myself for 10 years down in the Huon Valley. What an amazing place. Also got people here from Geelong. So people from all over Australia. So how this program works, some of you have been on here a few times, I recognize the names, and some of you might be a little bit new. So how this unfolds is I don't really download from that spiritual space. Yeah, I don't do the mediumship work on here. What I do is a bit of psychotherapy work, a bit of coaching work, a bit of inspirational work, a bit of guidance work from the questions you ask me. Yeah, from the questions you ask me. Yeah. So you ask a clear question, I can give you a bit more of a clear answer. Oh, Leon, just in that, where's the link to the website? When I came onto here to jump on, I wrote something on there about the link. So you should be able to see that in the beginning of the page when you're linked in. If not, go to adrianhanks.com. This is for everybody, adrianhanks.com. And when you go to the homepage, it'll say book a session with Adrian. Yep. But you should be able to read it somewhere because I'm not seeing the same screen as you. I'm not quite sure where you will see it, but I did type that in before I jumped onto this live one. So if somebody else has seen it, you can let them know. Okay, but otherwise just go to adrianhanks.com. And also you can just PM me in Adrian Hanks on Facebook if you want to, and we can have a conversation. So a few ways to contact me. So on that, yeah, just asking a clear question on what's going on for you right now, how you want some support in that. It could be around the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the relationship, the creative, the vocational, all aspects of life. So remember, this is public, so only ask what you're happy to share publicly. But I will say to you that if you ask a question, you'll probably be asking a question that others want to ask as well, but maybe don't quite have the courage or the space to do that. Because there's always that connective energy when people come into a show like this. So if you do ask a question, realize that you're asking it for others too, and that's a really powerful thing to be doing. So if you do have a question, please don't sit on it, try to ask it and get some clarity to help you to move forward in life, get more clarity in life and get back on track in life. Because I'm all about helping people to grow, to expand, to become more than. So who I was yesterday, how can I improve that and go to the next level tomorrow? It's all about growth. Because as human beings, we have that, the soul wants to grow, the spirit wants to grow. And unfortunately, what happens is the subconscious mind holds on to old stories, old beliefs, old paradigms, old subconscious patterns, and sabotage patterns get in the way. All those little demons come in and stop us from raising above. Because potentially, as human beings, we've got so much we can grow into, and we limit ourselves so much through physical, emotional, mental, spiritual pain, frustration, energy. Yeah. So I've just got a question here from Kaz. How can I deal with the mental anguish of daily chronic pain? Okay, Kaz. So what I say with people in chronic pain, yeah, and just the last from yesterday, I had a pain right down here in my left kidney, and it was quite excruciating last night. And I've woken up this morning a bit stiff and a bit sore. And what I recognized where that came from is I was doing some really deep emotional work yesterday around family, around my children. Some really deep processing. And whenever I'm in that emotional space around family, my kidneys get it, they get hit. It's about cleansing, and it's like I need to, pass a kidney stone or something. Like, it's really quite excruciating. I've got deep heating on it at the moment. I've had some massage on it, and I've done some emotional work around it. So the first thing I say when you're working with daily chronic pain is you have to go into the emotion. You have to get a sense of what's the emotion behind it. Because if you can clear some emotional work, it helps to alleviate the pain. Like last night, I was in quite excruciating pain. It was really quite nasty. And this morning was a little bit, I did some emotional work this morning, cleared it, and I'm sitting on quite a lot less pain because I went into the emotion. So first thing, as always, what's the emotional component? What's going on emotionally? And then with the chronic pain, have you looked at every angle of where to help that chronic pain? Have you looked at all the possibilities to help you? Energy work, acupuncture, flotation tanks. There's a million things I can keep going on with, but have you found the specific thing that's going to help you? Yeah. So scoliosis of the spine and rheumatoid arthritis. So I'm going to tell a little story here, Kaz, for you that might really help. I'm not a doctor, so this is not medical advice, but it's a story. So somebody I knew just a few years ago was in quite excruciating pain, and she had rheumatoid arthritis, and she was quite doubled over. She could hardly walk. And this was a lady who was, to run around the markets, and she had, she had a couple of kids, and she got really bad quite quickly. And she sought support. And for many of you may or may not know that my spiritual pathway is through anthroposophy, which is the work of Rudolf Steiner. And there's a medical section that's part of anthroposophy. It's called anthroposophical medicine. And there's a lot of anthroposophical medicine. There's a little bit like homeopathy, but it just goes a little bit more deeper into a few other aspects. And it's very holistic, very spiritual based medicine, spirit medicine, if you like. And one of the things for arthritis is expansion, because everything about arthritis is pulling in, pulling in, pulling in. It's all about contraction. So a lot of good work to do around anything that's contractive is to do the opposite and expand. So daily exercises of expansion, watching the sunrise every morning and expanding with the sun, doing the sun salute in the morning will help. Doing the emotional component to look at, why are you feeling contracted? What's contracted in your life? Why are you feeling contracted? And then thirdly, it's about getting some, medicine, some healing ointments and different things to help you with that. And this lady who had the arthritis, she took gold, anthroposophical gold, because gold is light. It's sunlight. It's energy in terms of light. It's expansive. And she was taking anthroposophical gold. She took it for several months. And I saw her about 18 months after I'd seen her, quite crippled in her being. And she was without the canes, and she was walking again, and she was quite upright. So I'm not saying that is the thing for you, but it's about looking outside the box at all different options. So, but if you want to have a further conversation, Kaz, on that, do contact me. Book in for a free consultation, 20 minutes on my website, adrianhanks.com. PM me on Facebook, Adrian Hanks, and I can have a conversation with you and put you in touch with some of these things. There's always different ways of looking at it. But scoliosis and rheumatoid arthritis is all about contraction. It's all about how can I then look out into the world rather than being contracted. What can I do emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally to help me on that process? So it's a big journey, but it can be turned around, with support, with guidance, with the right energy support as well. So anthroposophical gold was one story that, was real, and it really helped people. So it's finding the right thing to work with it. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what your story is. We'll have to unfold that, but I hope that helps, that, it is possible to heal from pretty much anything when we put our mind to it, we find the right thing for ourselves. Because everybody has a different, if you like, karma around it, destiny around it. And it's about working through the destiny of illness, the emotion behind the illness, the spiritual component, looking at it from a holistic perspective. Yeah, so Leanne, same thing for you. Full body pain every day. Get into the emotional component, release the emotions. Are you following your spiritual journey? Are you following your spiritual destiny, your spiritual path, your spiritual passion, your spiritual duty? Because these all help. It's a holistic process to get well again. What are you doing with the body pain? What can you do next in the body pain? What's going to help you to get rid of the body pain? Have you got some exercises to rid yourself of that? Or are you sitting in it a little bit too long rather than finding a way through it? Lots of questions around it. I don't have all the answers, but I can help you to start the process to go to the next level of healing. Because often what happens in healing, and I do it myself, is we get to a certain point and then we stop and we put up with the pain rather than looking for the next level of healing. Because there's always another level of healing. Energy healing, sound healing. I'm a dig player. I play didgeridoo healing. I remember my mother, many years ago, I went to visit her in the UK, and my mother had the arthritic hands where she couldn't move, and she was clawed. They called it claw hand, and she was clawed, and it'd been like it for months. She couldn't move, and I played the didge on her hand, and her fingers started to move, and her thumb, and she opened her hand up, and she said that was the first time in months she'd been able to open her claw hand. Just some easy sound healing with the didge. You can do vibrational healing, you can do sound healing. There's lots of different energy frequencies that we can use, but you have to find the right one for you. Okay, so that's for Leanne, that's for Kaz, and anybody else listening with chronic pain. Because chronic pain is not nice. I tore a ligament in L5 many years ago, and I was in chronic pain. And I went and had energy healing, I had TENS machines, I had hydrotherapy, And then I did some coaching and counseling around the emotion behind it. And I did some Korean acupuncture with a session of psychotherapy, and it cleared it up, it shifted it, and bang, it was gone, because there was an emotional component to it. And I hadn't, chosen to go there. That when I did, it helped me to clear it. A bit like the thing that's going on in my kidney, emotional component to it. And I know what the emotion is. So find out the emotion, do all the work that's necessary. Okay? So Lucy, I'm struggling emotionally as I'm trying to conceive. It's been very emotional and bringing me down. I'm finding it hard to keep upbeat. How can I help myself try past this while I wait for my miracle? Okay, so Lacey, the thing about conception is, this is my belief system. You take it as a story, and your own belief system is coming in this. But for me, when that conception is ready, there's a spirit being ready to come through, and they choose their moment. They choose their moment for them, the exact moment to come through into the being that's going to carry them. And for you, if there's a being sitting there ready to incarnate through you, through pregnancy, it's going to find its time. But what you can do in that space, Lacey, is do some meditation and open up to that being that's ready to come through you. Through that, that next little angelic being, that little human being that wants to come through and be part of the karma with you, part of the journey with you, and your partner. So what you can do, you can actually stop and give yourself time every day to open up to that inviting that being in, letting that being knowing you're ready, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. What else can you do physically to be ready? How can you create the vessel that being will look at you and go, I'm ready to come into that being because she's healthy, she's eating the right food, she's in the right mindset, her body's the right place for me. So if there's anything you need to tidy up physically, Lacey, I'd suggest you do that. Like, how's your diet? How's your meditation? How's your daily stress levels? So getting prepared, like preparing yourself as the vessel to come through, the holy vessel. It's like the chalice. You are the chalice for this being to land into. You really are. But you have to prepare, get ready for that. Do that physically, do that emotionally, do that mentally, do that spiritually. So that the being that wants to come through you knows you're ready as well. So you can open up to that and have a conversation. And your partner can do that too. You can do it together. And then finding that love-making space, creating that space, making it sacred. And before the love-making, inviting that space for the being and saying, if you want to come through now, we're ready for you. So really connecting in that spiritual arena. And opening up to see what happens, preparing yourself so you're not stressed around it, because the stress will stop it, of course, because you're not in alignment. So some meditations, some nice hot baths with candles and all that relaxing stuff, some massage, whatever it takes to relax your body, so that when that being sees you in that space, now I'm ready to come through. Of course, there's some practical things you can do, go and get tests and all those things, but I'm suggesting they can come later, because when we have tests and we go in and get tests when we're stressed, the tests don't really show up in a true way, because what happens is the test is stressed. It's like people who go for blood pressure readings. When they walk into the doctors to get a blood test pressure reading, they're stressed, so of course it's going to show high because they're stressed about going to the doctors to get the blood test. Go and get a high reading because you're stressed. Of course you're stressed because you're in the doctors. It's nonsense. So step back away from that. Do all this other work first. Prepare yourself. And then if you need to, go and get some medical tests. But I'm suggesting create the connection with this being first. Okay? Hope that really helps you. Yeah, Leanne, family stress. The children not talking to you. We have to find a way through that, because you can talk to those children energetically through letter writing, even if you don't send it. And you can talk to them energetically. You can talk to them through spirit. You can talk to them in different ways. There's different ways to connect. And it is stressful when family are not talking, when children are not talking. So you have to look at your side of that. What's happening for you in that space? What can you do to create that space? So we can have a deeper conversation, Leanne, when you book in for that session with me. Okay? Kaz, oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you. I'll be touched. Thank you, Ed. All good, Kaz. Yeah, I hope that's been supportive. Yeah, I'm only 52, so you're a full pack of cards, and you're yet to get the 2 jokers. It's always my joke when people are 52, that you become a full pack of cards because there's 52 cards in a deck. So, you're getting to that fullness of life. You're 52, you've got all the cards at play, and now it's about how do you play those cards. And Leanne, you can work backwards from that. You can work back from feeling like you're 82 to 72 to 62 to 52. But it takes energy, it takes time, it takes courage, it takes time, energy, and money usually. Booking for the sessions, getting your therapist, getting the people to work with. Because I say to people, if your car breaks down, it's clunking, you stop, you pull over, you call a mechanic, and you put in the time, the energy, and the money to get it fixed. If you've got a pet, a cat or a dog, and it's not well, you put in the time, the energy, and the money. But when it comes to self, time, energy, money go out the back door. Because oftentimes we put ourselves last because of the lack of self-love. And a lot of illness, a lot of stress is about lack of self-love. Not putting oneself first to be healed. Putting the time and energy and money into the children, the family, the community, the workplace, whatever it is. But what about yourself? This is where it begins. And you have to make that commitment. This is what I was just sharing with a lady I was talking to earlier. She's booked in for 10 months to work with me. She's finally got to the point where there's enough self-love there to put the time and energy and money into herself. And it's really important for you to acknowledge that, for everybody to acknowledge that. Where am I not putting myself first in terms of my time, my energy and money to get myself back on track, to become a better human being, to be more physically, emotionally, mentally and spiritually in alignment and in good health with myself? It's a lot because the sabotage patterns are huge. I get them myself every single day. I have to break through them every single day. But what I've got resources and tools to help me to break through those old stories, those old belief systems. Because that's what stops us. I'm not deserving enough. I don't deserve this. I don't believe this. There's nothing that can make me. I've tried everything. How many times have I heard that from clients? I've tried everything, Adrian. What have you got that's different? I say, so you've tried everything, okay? Let's find one thing you haven't tried. Tell me what that is. No, I've tried everything, Adrian. Okay. Tell me one thing you haven't tried. No, I've tried everything, Adrian. Tell me one thing. And let me help you. Have you tried meditating 6 times a day? 10 minutes a day. It's 1 hour a day. No, I haven't. Well, there's one thing you could try that's different. What else have you not done? Do you walk in nature every single day for 10 minutes? Do you go and sit under a tree? All those different nurturing things. Do you have a massage every week or every fortnight or every month? Are you drinking really good energy water? Have you changed your diet? Are you now on organic vegetarian diet, which is, from my perspective, the best healing medicine on the planet? Taking, meat and all those things out of one's diet. I know that's contentious and people don't always believe that. Because what about my protein? But we have to take stress out of the body. So what are you doing to alleviate that? All these questions. So this is what we have to work on when we're in this holistic healing space. We have to take on new ways of learning, new ways of healing, and thinking outside the box. Lacey, that makes so much sense. I never thought of meditation. So, Lacey, I want to touch on this because meditation for me is the key. Absolute key. Because when one meditates and we learn to stop the mind, there's relief. When we meditate and give the body a rest, there's relief. So just relief meditation. Yet alone, trying to contact angels and archangels and all those other things people do and chakra healing meditations and blah, 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 blah. It's a million different meditations. I do several different things myself, but just what I call peace meditation. Just dropping into a peaceful place. So let's do that right now. Let's do that. Obviously, if you're driving, you can't do it. But whatever you're doing right now, why don't you give yourself permission to stop for 1 minute? Give yourself permission to stop for 1 minute, whatever you're doing. And just sit, turn off any other distraction. I don't have 2 Facebook pages going, don't have something else going. Just be 100% focused with Adrian and his voice right now. If you can, those who choose to. Close your eyes. Take a big breath and let go. Oh. 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 Just let go of the tension. And just breathe. Feel the breath. Letting go. Letting go. Letting go. Just letting the jaw hang a bit loose. Letting your arms hang a bit loose. Letting your shoulders droop just slightly. And just breathing. In breath and out breath. In breath and out breath. Very gently. Just simply letting go. Just tuning into the breath, following the breath down to the belly and back up again. And down to the belly and back up again, following the breath. There's nothing to do, there's nowhere to go. Just following the breath. That's good. Follow the breath. That's good. When you're ready, just opening your eyes. Just a minute. Just a minute. That's all it takes just to relax the body. It's so powerful, Lacey, sorry. So powerful. So just learn to meditate. If you go to my Facebook page, Adrian Hanks, if you're not on there already, if you're not friend already, and it's also my website, there's a 1 hour Zoom on meditation. It's a recording. You can click into on my Facebook page. It's on there. You have to scroll down, or on my website, adrianhanks.com, and there's I think 5 different meditations on there. So you can learn at least one meditation. It's great practice, Lacey. So yeah, 100% get into your meditation. Get into meditation. I'll be doing more meditation teaching in 2020. So log in and tune in and check in. So Marie, hello, how are you? Is it okay to ask if my marriage will be okay? There's some major issues with us right now. Maria Ann, I don't download from Spirit and go, yeah, your marriage is going to be great, it's going to be hunky-dory, or no, you're going to finish it. That's not my role. Yeah. Same as Azra listening in, I don't do the cards. This is about you asking a specific question. So my question to you, Maria Ann, is what's happening in the relationship? What is the major issue? Yeah, right now, what's the issue? If you want to share that publicly, it's okay. If you don't, that's okay, you can contact me. But what I'd say in terms of a relationship is, your marriage, what do you need to do next? You have to name the issue, what is going on. Then you have to sit and work with your partner. And I suggest, with a marriage coach, counselor like myself, and work through it. And there are a couple of questions. I worked with somebody a couple of days ago in the same situation. Marriage is, a bit rocky. They're sleeping like this at night. There's tension. They're not connecting. So the first thing is are both partners, you and your partner, willing to do the work? And the question is the relationship worth it? The relationship you're in, is it worth fighting for? Is it worth working on? Or is it time to go, you know what, we're done. We've done all the counselling and all the energy work and all the communication we can. And we're at the place where we realise we can't go any further and it's time to actually separate. So that's always the first question for me. Are you in this to work together to make it happen? For one of you, because if it's only one, it's really difficult. You both need to be there to go, yep, we are committed to try and make this relationship work, or, we come to the end of the road and we're done. Because there's 2 different pathways. So you have to be clear on yourself, Maria-Ann. Am I prepared to do the hard work, to roll up my sleeves with my partner, to do all the work on myself that's needed? And my partner needs to do all the work too. And then we need to do the relationship work. And this is not just a one-off session. This is like big time work. I know it myself. But you have to be committed to it. But the question is the relationship worth it? That's the first question. Because then you'll know if the marriage is okay. Because we all have issues in relationship. All of us. All of us. Every single person I know. Relationship's not easy. It's a big initiation process. But will the marriage be okay? It'll be okay if you choose to do the work, if your partner chooses to do the work. If you choose not to do the work, those major issues are not going to go away, and it's probably not going to happen. And then you either stay in a relationship that's unhealthy, or you leave, and you leave maybe in a not such a great way either, not a conscious separation. So I'm not going to say yes or no to you, Marie. That's not my role. In fact, I think it's irresponsible of me to do that. Yep, because you have to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to be committed to it. But the question is the relationship worth it? First question. Okay, hope that helps. Same, yeah, Azra, I don't do card readings, but if you want to ask a specific question, I'm very happy to support with a question. Hi, Karina, great that you've just joined. I hope it's going to be helpful for you. And if you have a question, please ask. Are you able to answer my question? Back up the list at all, please. Andrea, let me go back. Sometimes it goes very fast. Andrea, fear is holding me in the past. It's stopping me from living the beautiful life that I deserve. I am stuck. Okay, being stuck. Let me just come back down to here. Andrea. So Andrea, being stuck. So the question is, where do you want to be? What's your vision for yourself? And when I work in the space of people being stuck, look, we all get stuck. Small stuck, medium stuck, big stuck, massive stuck. The question is, in that stuckness, where do you want to get to from your stuckness? Because we know where you are right now, you're stuck, but where do you want to go? What's your future potential self telling you of where you want to be? And this is the work I do. I help people to get to that place where they want to be, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and all other aspects of life. So it's about creating the vision, then making the plan to get there, and then putting the action in the steps. So the first thing I say to people, let's create that future potential self. Let's get a sense of who or she is, what she look like, walk like, talk like, where they live, what do they do. Create that vision, and then we can work out the steps needed to get there. So that's the way to get out of stuckness. That's the way to get out of stuckness, is to create the vision of where you want to go, and then create the steps to move out of the stuckness. Usually starts with a couple of small steps. First thing I usually say to people is, let's look at the physicality of you. What do you need to change physically? Your diet, your water, your exercise, your yoga, your meditations. Let's put that into place first. That's a step. That's a great step. Get you out of a particular stuckness. Then the emotional, then the mental, then the spiritual, then the vocational, then the relationship, then the creative, and all the other aspects of life. So step by step, we move out of stuckness. We leave the old self behind in that stuck story. The stuckness is a story too, Andrea. What's the story around being stuck? Why can't you shift? What's your story? What's your belief systems? So this is where the coaching and mentoring really helps, because I can be a bit objective in that with you. Like say, okay, Andrea, this is where you want to be. What are the steps? Let's set the steps together. And then I crank it up with you and I get you to do the steps. I coach you and mentor you and inspire you and positively challenge you to get to that place. Because the sad part is, Andrea, and for everybody else listening in, your potential is not being utilized. Your potential is not going out into the world. What you have to offer is not going out into the world. People are not meeting the fullness of who you truly are. That's quite sad. Because I'm sure there's lots of you to be met. Lots of positive you to be met. I'm sure, we've all got our shadows. But the positive aspect of you, what a shame that's not being met. And what happens is our soul goes into that space of wanting and desiring that. And our subconscious mind is fighting the soul all the time, putting us back in the box. And the soul is saying, I just want to come out of the box. I want to be living my life to the full. on all aspects of life. And the subconscious mind keeps us in the box. So we have to change the subconscious mind belief systems and patterns and paradigms to help free the soul, to free the spirit. That's all this work is. But it's really hard work. It's really hard work, particularly if the story is deep. Okay? Family stories, self stories, education stories, societal stories, all those stories that keep us back from being who we truly are. My old story is, I didn't go to high school very often. I played truant a lot. I just didn't get on at school. I left school early. I left with taking no exams. There was an agreement between myself and the headmaster. He didn't want me there and I didn't want to be there. So we came to an agreement where I had to be at school for, I think, 2 days a week in my last year of school. And in the last few months, I just wasn't there at all. And I didn't do any exams. I left school with no exams. So I had a belief system. Part of me was, I don't have a school certificate. I didn't do well at school. So I'm not very good at English and writing. And I'm an aspiring writer. I love to write. I've published some books. Got another book being published next year. But my old story is, I can't write. I don't know how to put sentences together. I don't understand what, half of what the English language is. I don't understand half of whatever those words are. I know commas and full stops and that's about it, but I don't understand any of the other English grammar language because it's not what I studied. So I really struggled in my head. But now what I do, I write because I'm a writer and my editor does the editing. So I've changed my story around it. I don't have to edit. I don't have to know that stuff. I'm learning it because as I go, my editor teaches me. So I'm learning as an adult how to write in the English structured way. And it's great. I'm learning some really great things. But it was an old story for me that I've had to change. And it's taken years. I know I'm a published author. I've got my book, got my children's book, got my novel coming out. I've got about nine other stories in the cupboard ready to work on next year. So it's about the story. You have to get rid of the story. So Andrea, that's for you to get out of the stuckness. If you want to do some work, go to my website, adrianhanks.com, or PM me and let's book you in for a session. My body is full of stress. My time, I'm happy when I'm in my own space. Yes, I love my own space, Shona. It's a great place to be. It's a great place to be happy. But unfortunately, unless we want to live in a cave like a monk, we also have to communicate and be with other people. So if you've got stress in the body, what did I just do about 10 minutes ago? I taught you a very simple meditation. Take stress out of the body straight away. Yeah? So if you want to get rid of your stress, learn to meditate. And learn to name the stress. What's the stress in your life? Because if you don't name it, you'll never get rid of it. So name the stress, and then you have to name it and then tame it. You have to do some psychotherapeutic work or some coaching or some counseling work to get rid of the stress. But meditate, is the first thing, get it out of the body. Learn to breathe. And you don't have to do all the technical stuff about 1 nostril, 2 nostrils, 3 different, breaths in one ear and 6 out the eyeballs and whatever's going on. Just stop, just breathe, just relax. Don't make it complicated because that's stressful. Just breathe, follow the breath, down to the belly, back up, down to the belly, back up. 2 or 3 minutes, 10 times a day, or even twice a day, no stress. It's a great stress relief, it's meditation, seriously, it's free, it's there, 24/7, doesn't go away. But the amount of people I talk to, because 1 in 5 people in Australia, when the survey's done, say they're stressed or have anxiety. It's about the same. Anxiety and stress are pretty similar. And 80% of those people, so about 1 in 6 or 7 or 8 people in Australia are on medication for stress or anxiety and stress. Whereas, from my perspective, if they learn to meditate, they wouldn't need to take that medication. So medication or meditation. I choose meditation. I don't do medication. I don't even do Panadol. I haven't had a Panadol for 15 years, 16, 17 years. I just choose not to. I don't do headaches. I meditate. I do water. I'm on a good diet. I'm on a vegetarian diet. Don't try to put stress in my body. I get stressed, of course I do. I'm human. Financial stress, relationship stress, children stress. But I deal with it as much as I can. I go into the emotion. I do the meditation, the meditation, not the medication. I go and deal with whatever's going on. I go to my therapist, which is usually my good, beautiful wife, who's a psychotherapist and counsellor as well as a wifey. So I go to her, I go to other people I know who I can trust, who can take me there. So this is what we need to do, Sean, is if the body's full of stress, what's the stress and what are you doing about it? Get into the meditation side of things. And then please just book in for a session with me. AdrianHanks.com, go and book in. Easy, Karen. I definitely have it over there. I've always wanted to learn to do it for spirit and mind. Yeah, great, Lacey. You go and do that. Thanks for that. It was great. I'm pretty sure that's the first time I've meditated properly. Oh, well, Karina, well done. Sometimes it's just the moment. You capture the moment. You find somebody who says it in the right voice that resonates with you, the right speed that resonates with you, the right tone, the right moment. Because there's some meditation teachers I love to listen to, and there's others my auditory hearing can't let me relax. So for some people, my voice won't be resonating, they won't be able to relax, they'll still be in stress. And for others, it'll be, I get Adrian's voice, I get the tone, the speed, the words. So we have to find the right person oftentimes as well. I've had some great meditation teachers in my time, and I've had a couple where I just cannot get into meditation. One of the ones I don't do well is journey meditation. Oftentimes because the person taking me on the journey is going too fast. Because when I meditate, I'm quite a slow meditator in terms of feeling and pictorial. So if somebody's taking me down through the forest to get to the ocean, to sit in the sand, to connect to my guidance, for me, that has to be slow, step by step by step. If it's, hey, you're through the bush and you're on the ocean and now download your spirit being, is like, I'm still in the bush. So I have to find the right pace for me, the right wording, the right tone. I don't do high voices very well. It's like, oh. But if it's a, tenor, sort of lower voice or a slightly deeper voice, I connect a bit more. So find out what suits you as well in meditation and how long and what space and all those different things. And I teach that in my meditation training because it's individual for everybody. There's no one meditation recipe for everybody. It simply doesn't work like anything else in life. Okay, so I'm glad you enjoyed that, Corinna. Maria, my partner, just told me she's an addict, kept it from me for 2 years. Okay, so what's the addiction? What's going on? Where is the addiction support? Is that being looked at? Because when we've all got addictions, that's the reality of it. I've got my addictions, you've got yours. Everybody's got an addiction of some sort. So it depends on the addiction. Is it ice addiction, alcohol addiction, sex addiction, porn addiction, work addiction, deceit addiction? We've all got addictions, bad habits. They get in. Our astral body loves habits. And unless we can find the positive habit to overcome the negative habit, we're stuck in the old negative habit. So what happens in the subconscious mind? We like to do things. We like to fill the soul. We like to fill a space. And we will fill it with something negative rather than positive just to fill the space. Because it needs filling, we need to be full. So we fill it with negativity instead of positivity. So we have to change the story, change the old habit or addiction into a new something that's more meaningful, more connected. And with addiction, it's usually a few things. Lack of self-love, attention or care. So what do you need to put into place to feel more loved, to be more connected to self, to be more connected to the world instead of taking the substance or doing the substance or doing the thing that's addictive? So the addiction is here and I'm here. So I call it little me and the big it. And the big it totally swamps the little me. It's in control and there's not much I can do about it because I'm not in my power. So what we have to do the swap. We have to go, I'm going to grow me into my I presence or my spirit, and I'm going to shrink the addiction, the it, into here. So I go from here into here. And then we tame this addiction. Then we're in control of the addiction. But that journey from here to here can be a challenging journey, a powerful, big journey, depending on the addiction, depending on the substance or the habit of what it is. Yeah. can be a big journey. And I'm telling you, if you go and get medicated to do the addiction, then you just get addicted to the medication. Yeah, because addiction is addiction. And if you take away one addiction without doing the psychotherapy work, it'll be replaced by another addiction. Take away the alcohol, more cigarettes come in. Take away the cigarettes, more alcohol comes in. Take away alcohol and cigarettes, and you haven't dealt with the story, the emotion, the abuse, or whatever's going on, the old story, another addiction will come in to take its place. Because it's like an empty hole would just be filled up with something. So we have to do the psychotherapeutic work around addiction, understanding addiction, and building that I presence up. So I do that with a cigarette. It's in my book here. I just want to find the picture for you to give you that image. Let's see if we can find it somewhere. You think I know it? What is my book? Here we go. So that's what I do with cigarettes. So there's a big it, which is a cigarette. It's totally control of the spirit. And then we get bigger and the cigarette shrinks and we can become in control of it. And then the cigarette or the joints or whatever it's doing can stop. So I do that physically. I get the cigarette and I put it in front of people or the joint, even if it's a pretend one. And I get them to feel how small they are in the presence of that. And then we reverse it. And that can be really quick. I've actually helped people stop smoking, drugs and marijuana and cigarettes in one session. Others it takes a bit longer because their I presence is suddenly present. It's like, hey, I'm not a smoker. What's going on here? And they suddenly wake up. So addiction work, very, very challenging. But get some support, Marie. And if I can help you in any way with that, please do contact me. Yeah, not being worthy is a tape playing in my head. I will book a session with you. I love to write to my passion straight from my heart flows out. Yeah, and look, that lack of self-love, self-worth, it's huge. It's huge. It's one of the key things on the planet where people are not loving themselves enough and putting themselves out there to get what they want in life. And it's not about being selfish. It's just about being a better human being for ourselves. And then we can be a better human being for our family, the community and the planet. Because we're not playing small anymore. Okay, so thank you, Andrea. Congratulations, well done, Adrian. I refuse to take medication. I lived on it for 20 years. Yeah, it's a good one to get off. Look, sometimes it's needed. I'm not knocking that. Some point, short term, or for some things, medication's brilliant. If you go in and have an operation and get the morphine, it's perfect because it knocks you out. So I'm not knocking it, but it's about using it in the right way and the right amounts for the right amount of time. Yeah, because there's things like cannabis oil now that are doing exactly the same thing, that's 100% natural and safe, and they're having the same or better effects. So I'm single, I just want to be loved, but I can't let people in to love me due to fear of getting hurt. Yep, it's a big one, Leanne, big one. Make a call and let's have a session around that one. Yeah, I'm glad it made sense for you, Shona. My own skin, missed the last bit. Oh, yep. Fear of getting hurt and uncomfortable in my own skin. So this is about self-love, feeling good about being in one's skin, Leanne. Feeling good about oneself. And that might take some transition. Might take some transition time about, owning who you truly are. One of the exercises I share in my work, in my book, is to say, can you 100% honestly stand in front of a mirror in a room? If you imagine you had 4 mirrors in a room and you stood in the middle of the room and walked around and saw yourself from all different angles, are you content with what you see physically? And if not, what do you need to do about it to feel better about it? What do you need to do? Do you need to go to the gym, lose some weight, do some yoga, put on weight, stand up a bit taller? What do you need to do to feel better? Because that's the story. What do you need to do? Think it, feel it, and then do it. Get clear about it. And yeah, it's hard work. Personal development, spiritual development work is really hard work. That's why so many people choose not to do it. Because they have a taste of it and go, wow, this is too hard. This is like running a marathon. This is like really hard. This is going to make me sweat and cry and scream and have to do things to change, and I haven't got the energy, I don't have the will. I'm too lazy, I can't be bothered. Because it's hard work. And usually it's hard work because we're not getting the nutrients and the nourishment from our food and our daily life and nature to go there. Because, when you eat rubbish food and you're not exercising, you're not doing your yoga and your meditations, it's really hard to go and run a marathon. But when you start to change your diet, change your mindset, do a few things to begin the process, it gets a bit easier. But you have to do some beginning work. The 101 work is change your diet. When you go next shopping, what are you putting in the trolley or your basket that you're going to put into your mouth? You wouldn't put that in your car. You probably wouldn't feed it to your dog or your cat. Excuses, for those people already on a good diet. This is not about you, but those that are not, what can you do next? Can you stop eating that bloody McDonald's rubbish? There's a friend of mine, I don't swear very often, but, Mac shit, seriously. If you're eating McDonald's, duh. If you're eating any of that takeaway junk, duh, what are you doing? What are you doing to yourself? Absolutely, seriously, what are you doing to yourself? The buns are rubbish, the wheat is rubbish. I'm a baker by trade, I know the quality of that, the bread, the rolls, it's rubbish. No nutrient. The burgers, the salads, not even organic. Covered in sprays. Hydroponic usually as well, so they've got no nutrients in them. Rubbish. From a cow. I don't know if you've ever been to a feedlot before, or seen the injections that they put into cattle. I'm not trying to do some scaremongering, I just want to be real with you. What are you doing to yourself? Go and watch a video of a feedlot. I actually visited one in South Africa many years ago. We went to get some compost to make compost on the organic farm. And the closest place was a feedlot place. I go and check it out. And I did, and I couldn't take the cow poo out of the feedlot to put into the organic farm because of the chemicals and the things they were injecting into the cattle that was coming out in the poo. Because the cattle were in there. It was a feedlot to fatten them up for the beef market, for the meat market. So they're in these pens, concrete pens, locked in, 36 cows to a pen. Hardly any room to move, covered in cow shit everywhere. And this row was about 4 kilometers long, outside, not even undercover. And the cows were in there constantly for 18 months, about 18 months or 2 years of their lives, to fatten them up for the beef market. And I asked the guy to show me the chart of all the inoculations these cattle had to keep them, disease-free, etc. 28 different inoculations went into those cattle. And I couldn't take the compost because it was full of pathogens, and I couldn't even burn those out through compost. There was too many of them. So I saw that firsthand, and it was shocking. It was more evidence for me not to eat meat, particularly non-organic meat. If I'm going to eat meat, it has to be, bush meat or organic meat. So just be really open, be more conscious about what you're eating. So the next time you go shopping, next time you go into that supermarket, into Woolies or Coles or wherever you go, go to Flannery's or somewhere different, or go to Coles and look for the organic labels. Swap your tins of veggies for organic. Sometimes it's even cheaper. I see, a can of something organic, kidney beans, $1.10, and next door it's $1.30, and people are still taking the non-organic off because there's a thing about the subconscious mind having the old story. My family's always bought Edgels, so I'm going to continue buying Edgels. Well, cross over. Try something new. Eat something a bit more healthy. And at least wash your vegetables in water. Wash them in 9.5 water to get everything off them. I'm on the soapbox a little bit here, but I want to help you. I want to support you. I want to guide you. I want to inspire you. And it's up to you to do this, okay? It's up to you to do this. You have to do the work. So next time you go shopping, conscious shopping. Okay? Conscious shopping, really important. Sometimes I'm about sort of, 90-10. There's still a few things I get that, maybe I shouldn't have, or I trick myself into thinking they're treats. But more and more and more and more, it's like another level for me. Another month or another year, I change something else. My health changes every few months. I do something more to take me to the next level. And that's what we have to keep doing. So I'm not perfect, but I keep changing. I keep challenging. I keep adapting. Really, really important. So we got about 5 minutes left of the show. This is zoomed through this show. This is like the fastest show energetically I think I've actually had. Because I really feel energized with trying to support you in this journey, particularly over the Christmas period. The silly season. People tend to put more things into their body that's not good for them in any time. The sugar intake, the alcohol intake, the junk food intake, the meat intake, and then come out the other side is like, oh, I feel so sick. Oh. And my New Year's resolution is going to be that I'm going to meditate, I'm going to not eat, I'm going on a diet, I'm giving up cigarettes, I'm giving up alcohol. So that's usually New Year's Eve. And by the end of February, statistics, go and Google it, 80%, 90% of people who make a New Year's resolution, some of those start, by the February, it's done. Back to the old habit, because the subconscious mind is too powerful. Now, those people that do break through, I'm telling you, most of those do it because they get support, they get a coach, they get a mentor, they get a psychotherapist, they get somebody to work with to help them to break through. I know that myself. Some people can break through on their own volition, their own work, but it's quite rare. You probably know that yourself. You're trying to do something that's really hard work. But when you get the support, get the coaching, get the mentoring, get the psychotherapy, it helps because there's somebody there to guide, to push, to support, to inspire. So that's what I do. That's my role. Yeah. I love it. I'm a life improvement specialist. I specialize in helping people to improve their lives. So if you're ready to take your life into a new space, you want to improve your life, and you feel a resonance with me, then we can do some work together. I've got some space to do some short-term coaching counseling, and I've got a bit of space for a few new people to come on board and do a long-term with me. 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. I've just booked somebody in today for 10 months. Wait till you see her artwork. Wait till you see her out there pumping with her art. We've got a whole process we're going to bring in and deliver and get going from a business perspective. And her health and well-being will absolutely improve by getting into her vocation, into her passion. And you can do that too. But you've got to find that passion. You've got to find that will. And the only person that's going to change that is you. Yeah? Absolutely. So if you make that call, if you make that move, I guarantee things will improve. But you have to do the step. You've got to do the contact. Okay? So absolutely do that. After smoking for over 40 years, finally gave up 11 months ago. But then I put on 7 kilos of weight. I've gone through menopause and weight is even harder to shift than it was before. Of course, shift. Of course, I will also sabotage my efforts to improve my weight condition as well. How do I help myself with that, please, Ed? So weight is emotional, one thing. So you have to deal with the emotion around weight. And the other thing is all about kilojoules. So the energy going in and the energy going out. If you're putting in 50 kilojoules, going in, and you're not walking off or exercising off, the 50, then the kilojoules put on the weight. So it's about finding the right balance of what's going in terms of energy and kilojoules, and what you're using up. And you need to use up slightly more, a few more, than you're putting in. So for me, for instance, in October last year, I made a pact with myself to do 3 months to lose weight, and I lost 16 kilos in 3 months, in 12 weeks. I went from 87 kilos then to 72, and now I'm up to about 76 because I've put on 4 or 5 kilos of muscle from exercise and gymming and different diet. And I did that by measuring, by being quite clear. But I had a vision of the body shape I wanted to be. And I didn't get on the scales. My coach, don't get on the scales for the whole 12 weeks, but take photographs. Have a look at yourself, physically get it in your head what you want to look like. So create the vision and aim to get to that vision. And every week, do a different photograph. But it's all about that, but it's the emotion behind it too. So it's about choosing. And I know menopause can be weight gaining, but it doesn't have to be, because that's a lot of that emotional story as well. So we can certainly do some work on that. If you go to my website, you can see a bit of a story around that, some photographs. So look, I'm on the hour, I like to start on time, finish on time. It's 1 o'clock Queensland time. I'm actually heading down to see somebody now to do some more work. And then tonight I'm in Coolangatta at the Beachmont Surf Club at 7 p.m. to give a presentation on the new economic evolution of the world. So if any of you are on the Gold Coast and you want to get some financial freedom, some financial education, free presentation, in Greenmont Surf Club at 7 p.m. in Coolangatta, and I'll be there. So come along a little bit early, come and join us. We've got a table booked there to do a presentation, and it's going to be fun and engaging, and it's free. And I can teach you about financial education and financial freedom, because that's another thing that I'm involved with in terms of helping people to improve their life. So if you're on the Goldie, so tonight, choice, Netflix, Facebook, or come and see Adrian in Coolangatta to learn about financial freedom and financial education. What's the choice? Namaste. See ya.